Based on the surreal and highly controversial cartoon show Ren and Stimpy comes Ren and Stimpy Fire Dogs for the Super Nintendo. It's a weird game, which is only right considering how weird the show was. Despite its sick and twisted humour, I found Ren and Stimpy to be a pretty funny cartoon. It's certainly a lot better than something like Family Guy. Anyway, the game is based on a particular episode of the show, and from what I remember, I think that the Fire Dogs episode was an entertaining one. The visual style of the game is very good in terms of its mimicking of the show, and a lot of the enemies and power-ups are taken directly from the episode. The music sounds like something from the show as well, so in terms of presentation and following the show, I'm struggling to find fault with it. The problem is the gameplay. You play as Stimpy and you have to get a whole bunch of fireman equipment and stick it onto the fire truck. The fire chief will beat you with one hit and then it's back to square one. The only way to overcome him is to either spray him with a fire extinguisher to stun him for a second or two, or you can wear the Dalmatian paint, but that washes off if you go under any of the water sprinklers. All of this wouldn't be so bad if there wasn't a darn time limit, and a harsh one at that. The other stages have you going around as Ren and Stimpy as you stop things falling out of buildings and breaking by catching them with the trampoline thing. It's so boring. And the timer is ridiculously long here. It's like the parts where you want a generous time, you get next to nothing, and the parts you want to be quick go on forever. What I like about this stage that you see here is that the music in the background is the William Tell overture, which will forever remind me of that brilliant scene in Clockwork Orange. You know the one I'm talking about, and if you don't, then watch Clockwork Orange. And some Ren and Stimpy while you're at it. There is a password system, but instead of being a basic numbers and letters system, you have to change how the log looks. Well, it's funny and clever to see them utilise the log from the show. It's so needlessly confusing. I mean, how are you meant to write this stuff down? All round, if you like the show a lot, then maybe you might get a few kicks out of this game, but be prepared to suffer through its flaws. If you're not a fan of the show, then you really aren't going to enjoy this game, because it's frustrating and dull.